לעבור ללשון קצת פחות קדוש, and I'll move to English. Can people hear me okay? Okay, so thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for everybody coming this morning and being upstairs at the Tekes and the Brit. So I think it came off nicely. The truth is that after 3 engagement parties, all to Danielle, don't worry, 3 engagement parties, 1 wedding, 2 Simcha celebrations and a previous Brit, I pretty much run out of things to say. So the good news is that I'll be briefer than I've been in the past, for those who've been at Simchas in the past. Also today there was the Facebook, every cute story or funny joke or anecdote, everybody's seen 1,000 times, so there's like nothing left to talk about. So, but there are a few things that I think we should say, and of course to start with some important thank yous. I'll start with, in the wider sense, I'll thank Danielle and I really want to thank the wider community here, everybody, all our neighbours in the area, in the greater area of Scheinfeld and particularly of Gad. As always, fantastic, wonderful community. We're once again touched by everybody's help and generosity, and we've got dinners coming to our house every night for like 3 weeks. And thank you to your Elabon team for setting that up. And also great Shalom Zohar, we have food for the next 2 years in our freezer, cakes and stuff after the Shalom Zohar. And thank you to the clients for doing that, for organising that, and happy birthday to Lisi. A quick word about our more extended family in Australia who is not here. We have siblings, cousins, my dad, and especially my grandmother who I just spoke to a moment ago on the phone. She's 93 and she's very, very excited. She knows everything that's going on. She's been waiting to hear the name, and I just spoke to her a minute ago. So a special shout out to her. Of course, our families here, as always, have been really, really helpful. My sister Tammy and her husband David and their kids. And also my sister and brother-in-law, David and Gina, as always, been running around doing everything from David opening the hall this morning at the crack of dawn to Gina taking our kids to schools and guns and doing everything that they need to do. Of course, our new baby, Ariel, is very privileged to have 4 grandparents here, and as are Danielle and I and all their help. It's even better that they're not living with us, but they're living next door. It's a little bit, the 4 of them living together, it's a bit unusual. It's kind of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory-esque. They don't all share a bed, as far as I know, but it's really, really great having them here, and they've been here for every birth, and that's been really, really good. Of course, our kids, you know, Avital said about 2 months ago, she said, have the baby whenever you want, just not on the day of my Mesivat Siddur. Of course, we weren't in control of things, but Avital, one day you'll appreciate when you grow up that through the birthing process, even the medical decisions that we were taking were based on whether we would make it to your Mesivat Siddur or not. I'm not sure that's the soundest grounds to use, but we really, really did it. And Mummy's upset that she didn't make it, but of course I was very happy that I made it to your Mesivat Siddur, and it was a great show. Kinneret gave us a special present and a gift this week, not only a new baby, but she lost the first tooth, and she was very, very excited. And Eliab has also been a great boy this week, and he's very excited to have a new playmate, another boy in the family. And hopefully he will stop putting on nail polish and very get some more cars and trucks in the house. And of course, the most important person, Danielle, my wife. Danielle has a remarkable ability of falling pregnant every time she goes back to work, and she did it again this time. So I don't know whether I'm more afraid for her to go back to work or not go back to work in the future. But of course, Danielle's been wonderful both through the birth, through the last week, and bringing up our kids so far. And I really look forward to raising the next child with you as well for many, many years. At Avital Simcha Bat, I stood up and I said, you know, we're not really a kind of a 3-name baby sort of family. That's just not us. It was just an exceptional circumstance, but apparently it happens 50% of the time because we chose to do it again. And I'll explain the reasons why. All 3 names are important to us, so we wanted to use them. So I'll start with the first, Ariel. The reason for the name Ariel is quite simple. It was just to annoy my mother. The reason I say that, obviously not really, but we have a habit in our family of repeating names. And with already having a cousin Ariel and a cousin Ariella, we thought, why not have another Ariel? But in all seriousness, we really like that name. Daniel and I have liked it for quite a long time. wasn't a factor, but Eliab's best friend is Ariel, and he keeps saying, call the baby Ariel, like Ariel from my gun. So we took his advice. We have to teach everybody in Australia the correct pronunciation, that it's not Ariel, but Ariel, but they'll probably get it eventually. The name Ariel actually appears in Sefer Ezra, a relatively minor figure, but more importantly, Ariel is a name for Yerushalayim. It's a name that we know is associated with Yerushalayim, and that was very important to us. Daniel and I met in Yerushalayim, we got married in Yerushalayim, all 4 of our children were born there, and it's where our hearts lie. So it was an important name. I wanted to think of something a bit more about the name Ariel, so I thought I'll look at the gematria. So the gematria of Ariel turns out to be 242. I was a bit reluctant to name our child after the United Nations resolution, so I thought I'll look for some other things that have a gematria of 242. So there are a few that are quite inspiring. Ariel, 242, shares a gematria with Rabbi Yehuda, with Zachariah. A nice expression of Hashem Yera'eh is also 242. Also, Lev Rachav, having a wide heart, a generous person, I think that's a great one. Also, quite interestingly, it's the same gematria as Kol HaKavod Tzahal, which is quite nice. There are some other interesting ones that I don't know if they'll have any relevance to his life, but it happens to be the same gematria as Samuel Adams. And perhaps even more interestingly, Hanasich William. So I don't know what any of that means. But perhaps there are a couple of other weird ones like Lynches and a few others, but the one that I think was really important is it also has the same gematria, and you can check me on all of these, as Chaval al Azman. For those who may not speak Hebrew so well, that's actually a positive thing. It means like terrific, not what you would think it means literally. So we hope it'll be a Chaval al Azman child. The next name we gave him was Rafael. Ariel, Rafael. We were a bit reluctant, we were a bit unsure about the order because it kind of rhymes, Ariel, Rafael, but Daniel said last night, should we change it? I said, no, the speech is already written out, I'm not Rafael is a name also that we like. It's interesting, when Avital was born, we had a boy's name and a girl's name ready, and Rafael was actually the boy's name that we had ready at the time. And I was a bit concerned that we're not native Israelis, that we won't necessarily know the connotations of certain names. You know, like, does everybody know that Yoram is the kid who gets beat up in the school playground? We didn't necessarily know that. So I decided to speak to a colleague, an Israeli colleague at the time, and run a few names past her to see, and she liked all of them. When I said Rafael, she hesitated for a minute. She said, well, there is sort of a connotation of Rafael. I said, for Rafael, I said, what? He also gets beaten up in the playground like Yoram? She says, no, Rafael's really the kid who beats up Yoram. I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case, because we do really like the name. It's also an important name. Rafael, of course, is a name of healing, and I thought this might be difficult, but we have 2 cases very close to us that really need some healing. Sorry. One in the generation above us and one in the generation below us. And the next couple of months could be a bit difficult. Sorry. We just really hope that the name Rafael will bring healing in the generation below. Sorry. Okay, I'll recover myself. And I'll move on to the third name, which is much brighter, which is of course Simcha. And Simcha balances out Rafael, and we also hope that as well as healing this baby, we bring Simcha. We had to. It's of course yesterday was Rosh Chodesh Adar, and can't let that occasion go by without incorporating it in the name. We thought about Misha. Daniel wouldn't let me do Haman, so Simcha was a good choice. And our bracha for our new baby is, as well as bringing healing and everything, that he'll bring happiness. And we're sure that like all of our children, they'll bring an unbelievable amount of Simcha to our lives. And that's all. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming.